Hello, it's time for part 18 of The Wizard of Oz, and we're on chapter 17, called How the Balloon Was Launched. For 3 days, Dorothy heard nothing from Oz. These were sad days for the little woman, even though her buddies were all pretty satisfied and contented. The Scarecrow informed them there had been extremely good thoughts in his head, but he might no longer say what they were, because he knew nobody ought to understand them, however, himself. When the Tin Woodman walked approximately, he felt his heart damp around in his breast, and he told Dorothy he had observed it to be a kinder and extra gentle coronary heart than the one he had owned whilst he became a product of flesh. The Lion declared he'd become terrified of nothing on earth, and would gladly face a military or a dozen of the fierce Kalidas. Thus, each of the little birthday celebration changed into glad except Dorothy, who longed greater than ever to return to Kansas. On the 4th day, to her extraordinary pleasure, Oz sent for her, and while she entered the throne room, he greeted her pleasantly. "Sit down, my expensive. I even have observed the way you get out of this US. And lower back to Kansas?" she asked eagerly. "Well, I'm no longer certain about Kansas," said Oz, "for I haven't the faintest belief which way it lies. But the first aspect to do is to pass the barren region, after which you have to be clean to locate your way home." "How can I move the desert?" she inquired. "Well, I'll let you know what I think," said the little guy. "You see, after I came to this US, it became in a balloon. You also got through the air being carried by a cyclone, so I trust the satisfactory manner to get across the wasteland will be through the air. Now, it's miles quite beyond my powers to make a cyclone, but I've been wondering the problem over, and I consider I could make a balloon." "How?" requested Dorothy. "A balloon," stated Oz, "is made of silk that is coated with glue to maintain the gasoline in it. I actually have masses of silk within the palace, so it will likely be no problem to make the balloon. But in all this USA, there is no fuel to fill the balloon with to make it drift." "If it might not float," remarked Dorothy, "it'll be of no use to us." "True," spoke back Oz, "but there may be some other way to make it go with the flow, which is to fill it with warm air. Hot air isn't always as correct as fuel, for if the air have to get bloodless, the balloon could come down in the desert, and we have to be misplaced." "We?" exclaimed the woman. "Are you coming with me?" "Yes, of path," answered Oz. "I'm tired of being the sort of humbug. If I need to go out of this palace, my humans would quickly find out I am now not a wizard, and then they might be vexed with me for having deceived them. So I need to live shut up in all these rooms all day, and it gets tiresome. I'd much rather return to Kansas with you, and be in a circus once more." "I will be happy to have your cooperation," stated Dorothy. "Thank you," he spoke back. "Now, if you'll help me stitch the silk together, we can begin to paintings on our balloon." So Dorothy took a needle and thread, and as speedy as Oz, reduced the strips of silk into the right shape. The girl sewed them neatly collectively. First there was a strip of light inexperienced silk, then a strip of darkish inexperienced, and then a strip of emerald inexperienced, for Oz had a flowery to make the balloon in distinctive sunglasses of the colour approximately them. It took 3 days to sew all of the strips together. However, when it became finished, they had a large bag of inexperienced silk greater than 20 foot lengthy. Then Oz painted it at the inside with a coat of skinny glue to make it hermetic, and then he announced that the balloon became ready. "But we should have a basket to ride in," he said, so he dispatched the soldier with the inexperienced whiskers for a massive clothes basket, which he filled with many ropes to the bottom of the balloon. When it changed into all prepared, Oz dispatched word to his humans that he was going to make a go to fantastic Brother Wizard, who lived within the clouds. The information spread rapidly during the town, and all of us came to peer the extraordinary sight. Oz ordered the balloon performed in front of the palace, and the humans gazed upon it with a lot of interest. The Tin Woodman had chopped a huge pile of wood, and now he made a fire of it, and Oz held the lowest of the balloon over the fire so that the new air that arose from it might be stuck in the silken bag. Gradually the balloon swelled out and rose into the air until finally the basket simply touched the floor. Then Oz was given into the basket and stated to all the humans in a loud voice, "I am now going away to make a visit. While I am gone, the Scarecrow will rule over you. I command you to obey him as you will me." The balloon turned into by way of this time, tugging difficult on the rope that held it to the ground, for the air within it turned into hot, and this made it so much lighter in weight than the air without that it pulled, tough to rise into the sky. "Come, Dorothy!" cried the wizard. "Hurry up, or the balloon will fly away." "I cannot discover Toto everywhere," replied Dorothy, who did not want to leave her little canine at the back of. Toto had run into the gang to bark at a kitten, and Dorothy, remaining located him, she picked him up and ran towards the balloon. She changed into inside some steps of it, and Oz was retaining out his finger to assist her into the basket when, crack, went the ropes, and the balloon rose into the air without her. "Come again!" she screamed. "I need to move too." "I cannot come," returned my Pricey, known as Oz, from the basket. "Goodbye!" "Goodbye!" shouted all the people, and all eyes had been turned upward to where the wizard turned into using within the basket, rising each moment farther and farther into the sky. And that turned into the remaining any of them ever saw of Oz, the wonderful wizard, though he might also have reached Omaha properly, and be there now for all we recognise, but the people remembered him lovingly, and stated to one another, "Oz was always our friend. When he became here he built for us this lovely Emerald City, and now he's long gone he has left the wise Scarecrow to rule over us." Still, for many days they grieved over the lack of the wonderful wizard, and might now not be comforted.